Good, good. Just let me set it up and we'll start. Okay, great. Now we are live on Facebook as well. Deeptiman, thank you so much for joining Expert Connect today.
It's my pleasure, Vaibhav.
Thank you. For all the attendees and the participants who are there, let me introduce Mr. Deeptiman is from Excelsia College, Sydney. And today we're going to talk a lot about Australia, Excelsia, of course, about borders opening, scope for students in Australia. Before we do all that, Deeptiman will love to know a little bit more about you and about Excelsia College first.
Thank you so much for having me over here in this lovely activity that you're doing, Vaibhav. I come from an education background for the last like 7-8 years. I started my career with IDP. That's an organization which deals with student recruitment, and then later on went to UTS in Search, that's now currently known as UTS College. I was taking care of the South Asia Pacific region. They stayed there for 3-4 years and then moved on to this wonderful institution called Excelsia College. It's an amazing institution altogether to be in. It's 4 years now. In the past span of 8 years, I've dealt with more than 3,000 students who wanted to study in Australia in different fields, of course, and had been able to interact with a lot of lovely people like you.
Great.
So it has been a great journey. About my institution, yes, of course, I would tell in details, but anybody who is looking for unique programs and at a very cost-effective manner, we are the one. So, of course, I will talk about it during the course of the time.
Great. Okay, Deeptiman, we would love to cover, the most hot topic right now, which is when are the borders opening for international students for Australia? I believe there is, there are a lot of updates that we keep on hearing from federal government, and then there are some pilot projects from states as well. New South Wales being one of that. So what's the scene right now, and when can the students hope to travel to Australia?
Yeah, I know it's a very hot question, and a lot of students do come up with this question: when the borders are going to open. The good part is it's going to open up very soon. Let me just put it in a nutshell: very, very soon. And as you all know, that a lot of news is coming in, information is coming in that NSW is going to open up by December. A lot of other regional places are going to open up also very soon. But one thing that students should understand is Australia takes all the steps very cautiously and step by step. It has been under a lockdown for the last 2 years. It has not allowed its own resident to come in. So you can understand that how serious they are about this pandemic. The reason being is that there are limited resources to handle people. It's not that they don't want the people to come into Australia, but even if they come in, they need to have the resources in place to give the best of healthcare and services to them. So that's why these measures were taken. But coming back to the whole question about when the students are going to come in, yes, it will be in a month or so. They will definitely start with the main residents and students who are having the visa holders already. And post that, they are going to open up for all these students who are aspiring to study in Australia. So what we are expecting is that maybe towards mid 2022, they are going to have a very open entry to everyone.
Great, that's good to know. So yes, as you correctly said, what we also can understand, from all the updates and news that we've been getting, is that probably by this month end or by December, the borders would open for citizens of Australia who've not been able to travel till now. So first, they let the citizens in, and then of course, people who've been connected with health sector, students who already been studying online, already have visa and studied one semester or a year online, and then they want to continue, and then slowly and steadily, the borders will open for everyone. So if not Feb intake for the students, but for sure the July intake, things would be pretty clear and open for international students.
Absolutely, because we don't know the intensity of the entry that is going to come into Australia. So the whole idea is, if at all we are able to accommodate everyone in the first 2 months' time, it will be a lot easier. I think that by the time February session starts, there will be a lot of students who will be granted visa and they can travel to Australia. Of course, we need to adhere to the TGA guidelines that basically they need to be double vaccinated. The vaccine needs to be approved by the TGA. So those nitty-gritty points are there. So as students, we all need to understand that there are a few guidelines that we need to adhere to, and of course the entry should be there.
Great. For students, I would love to tell things change every day. There are new updates, there are new policies which are coming every day. So stay in touch with your counselors at Expert Education for any queries. They will give you the up-to-date information. And I believe this would be the right time to start your applications, because once you do get, the news, the borders are open, there's going to be a mad rush. So there would be delays. I believe there would be delays in a lot of processes, be applications or visas. So don't wait for it, because it is going to happen. You should start your application processes now. This is the best time to start.
Absolutely. Just to add on, plan early and just be on time.
Correct. Okay, now we have covered that the borders are finally going to open, and there've been students who've been waiting for it, and there are new students who are still trying to figure out which country they should go to pursue their higher education. Now, when we talk about Australia, what do you think are the unique points about Australia that should attract international student, and an international student should look at Australia for higher education?
Okay. Well, you also have been into this education industry for quite some time now, and you have dealt with multiple destinations. When somebody asks me this question, I generally, ask them back with few important questions. So, as in students who are aspiring to study abroad, what are the main things that you look forward to in a country for studies? So, so it's a combination of a lot of factors. So when it comes to Australia, it's always a win-win situation for each and every student. See, the first point that I always feel good about Australia is, you look into the history of Australia and take history of any other country in terms of the economic stability. Look at Australia. I believe it's the only country which has not seen a recession in the last, say, 30, 40 years. The economy has been stable. So what does that mean? That means is anybody who is there in Australia gets an opportunity for a job, gets an opportunity for having a good lifestyle. So this is it. So first thing is a very strong economy in Australia. That's number one. Number two, Australia predominantly is a pure multicultural country. There are people from across countries. You got people from Asia, you got people from Europe, you got people from Latin America. They're all thriving, surviving, and there's a lot of mutual respect over there. So when we travel over there, or any of the international students who are planning to study in Australia, they don't feel like they are away from home. They don't miss their culture. So that's the best part about being in Australia, that it's a multicultural country where they can have exposure to different cultures and not miss their own culture. That's the second point. Third most important point is, the world-class institutions that Australia has. If you look into the institutions or the Times Higher ranking of the Australian institutes, the number of institutes that are there in the Times Higher ranking or any of the ranking bodies across, see, the almost 80% of the Australian institutions are in those ranking, So that's basically is the quality of education, I mean to say. So that's great. So when you are deciding to come to study in Australia, the best part is that the quality of education that the institution provide in Australia is absolutely world class. It gives you a global opportunity. It gives you hands-on learning. It gives you exposure, and you are ready to take on your professional career after completion of the programs in Australia. So that's number three. And the fourth most important part is, Australia itself has huge opportunities. You look at the climate condition, living environment, everything is like great, especially for Indian students, subcontinent. We are used to like four weather conditions, summers, winters, monsoon, all those things. So when students plan to go to countries where there is extreme cold or extreme heat, it takes a toll on their health. It takes a lot of a lot of things to adjust to those environments. Whereas Australia, on the other hand, gives them a fantastic environment which is neat and clean, which is almost equivalent to their home country, and it's a pleasure living there in Australia. And not to mention the tourism over there; it's fantastic.
True, true. So, yeah, in a nutshell, I totally agree. Australia is a country which is a multicultural, a welcoming country, world-class institutes, with options of, post-study working rights. You can stay back and work. And if you like, your lifestyle there and you want to stay longer permanently, there's a possibility of that as well. So this is all what look at. So for students, whenever you're aspiring for higher education and you are considering between different countries, start from what you want to achieve in life. What are your long-term goals?
Yeah.
And which country is in line with most of your requirements. So then decide which country you should go to.
Very well, Vaibhav. I completely agree to you.
Great,
That's the key
great,
thing.
great. So, we've talked about Australia as a destination and the institutes there. So let's talk about Excelsia College. Now, from students' perspective, when we get students and we tell about Excelsia College, there is one confusion which always comes up, and I'm sure you're aware of that. When it says college, so students are a little confused that normally all the higher education courses when we offer in Australia, they're universities. They're not many colleges, so students get confused. So let's talk about that, and also what courses we have for students at Excelsia and the services.
Yeah, this is the moment I always wait for, Vaibhav. You are very right that the Australian education system always has like colleges and universities, and there's a very predominant mindset among students and a lot of people and parents that college means in Australia anybody who provides a diploma or advanced diploma or a certificate program. So having said that, of course universities give undergraduate degree, postgraduate degrees, and PhD programs. So what if I say that Excelsia College provides undergraduate degrees, postgraduate degrees, and PhD programs? We, Excelsia College, do not provide diplomas, advanced diplomas, or certificate programs. So that's the whole ball game and the magic thing about Excelsia College. Although the name is college, we are a higher education provider. We provide undergraduate programs, postgraduate programs, and PhD programs. And that is basically on the path to become a university. So we are going to become a college university very soon. Of course, we need to adhere to a few of the guidelines by TEXA. So given the fact that we are offering these programs, and how we are able to offer this, because we are a self-accrediting authority. Just like any other university, we have self-accreditation authority. We can actually run our own courses. Tomorrow you come and say that DM, we want to have a healthcare program. We can run that program, and we just need to inform TEXA and get it registered with TRICOS. So that is there. So Excelsia College is a higher education provider, number one. Number two, we are a very young institution, around about like 30, 35 years old, and we have a very lovely legacy of our student support and quality teachers and quality teaching. And that is the reason we are ranked among the top 3 in Australia for student engagement and quality learning. That's the fantastic thing. We are based out of Sydney. We are just besides Macquarie Park. So it's in central Sydney, located in central city. And we got a great campus. We have a lovely facility for the student. A lot of students would say, what kind of facility? So I would like to highlight very important things. Number one, we are officially the fastest internet campus in entire Australia. Can you imagine?
Wow.
So we got the name is college. Everybody thinks that college is small. No, we are not small. We have a huge campus. We in fact give more than 300 car parking space free of cost to the students. So anybody who comes in, they can get a free car park space over there. We got an absolute fastest internet in the campus, Wi-Fi campus altogether. And third, about student services, if you get into the campus, every student of Excelsia has a Frank Green coffee mug. Now, this is something very exciting. I'm excited about it because Australia is a coffee drinking country. A lot of students and people have coffee. So what this Frank Green coffee mug does is this has a microchip in it. And any student who goes into the student service center wants to grab a coffee, just go to the coffee machine, drop in the coffee mug, and they can select from any 23 different combinations of coffee, hot chocolate, or drinks. And that is absolutely free of cost.
Wow. Okay.
When we say free of cost, why we do it is not because we have a lot of money, but it is towards the towards the concern for the students, because that you had also been handling international students. The first thing that comes to their mind is cost saving. For a student who is earning around about $200, $300 a week, and when they want to go for their work or for their studies, they want to grab a coffee. The coffee would cost them around about $1.5 to $2. And imagine if in a day, during winters, they want to have 2 coffees in a day, that's cost them around about $3 to $4. So in a week, that's around about $30 to $40 behind coffee. So if they can save $40 coming to the institute, imagine that's a big saving for them. So that's the kind of belief we have. Other than that, Excelsia College is a very cross-cultural organization. We have more than 58 different nationalities studying with us. We have close to 8,000 students who have already graduated from us. We got a lot of student communities with us, from Nepalese community to Indian community, who do a lot of cultural activities in the campus during holidays. So you don't miss your home when holidays come in. And we at Excelsia College really care about our students. So we, in the last pandemic, I would like to highlight this. A lot of students got stranded. They were left with no jobs, no money. And that's when Excelsia College started with the food bank program. The food bank program was not for only a day. It was for the entire period of pandemic. So each and every student who listed with us and said that they needed help, our faculties, our staff members in their own cars, gathered food stuff like breads and milk and cereals, which could be given to them and can be used every day. They packed those things and provided them regularly. And that thing is still going on for all the needy students. I'm sure no other institution does that for their students when it comes to caring like this. So it's a Christian college. We are a not-for-profit making institution, and that is why our course fee structures are also very less. And if you look into our course fee structure compared to institutions, we have very, very nominal fee for the courses that we offer. So regarding the programs, we have 5 main schools. We got the School of Teaching, we got the School of Counseling, we got the School of Business, we got the School of Music, and we got the School of Social Work. So these are the 5 main, very unique schools that we have. And the best part is, all these schools where you come and study, later on you can look forward to have a great career in Australia. And these are unique courses.
Yeah, true. I believe all the schools that you have and the courses that they offer, they are of the list which are in high demand in Australia. So, once you finished your course, getting an admission, uh, the PR becomes easier for the students who get into those fields. I know we can't promote much on that, but yeah, that is a fact. Uh, in when we talk about the School of Business, I guess the most preferred course for your school from, of course, the Indian subcontinent is the professional accounting, both at undergrad and postgrad level, right?
Yes.
So Ditya, what are the entry requirements, let's say for undergrad and postgrad course?
Undergrad and postgrad course. See, as we earlier said, with the entry requirement also, the funny part is a lot of people think that college is there, so we can get along with our easy scores into this college. Sorry to disappoint you, students. We have a very standard entry requirement for all the postgraduate programs, barring masters in counseling. We need 6.5 overall, no band less than 6. Of course, for counseling, you need to be very good in English and your proficiency. So you need to have a band of 7 overall and no band less than 6.5. For undergraduate programs, you need to have an overall score of 6, no band less than 6. That's the English proficiency requirement. As far as academic requirement is concerned, for all the programs, you need to have at least 60% in the qualifying year. So if it is for undergraduate programs, you need to be 60% plus in your 10 plus 2. If you are going for a postgrad, you need to have 60% in your bachelor's. If you're going
Okay.
in for a research program, you need to have, of course, 60% in your graduation and your master's. Plus, you need to have some publications. So we can go course specific, which are like no lot easier.
Okay. Okay. So, you said the entry requirement is 60%, and you also know there's so many, year 12 boards in India, CBSE and IB and state boards and ICSEs. Uh, and the ranking and the scoring there is comparatively different. Scoring in a state board is comparatively easier rather than scoring in a CBSE. So when we say 60%, what about if we get a student, who's not exactly 60, but let's say 58, 59, somewhere there?
I'm so sorry, it has to be 60.
Has to be 60.
So
Okay.
whether it's state, I think it's the other way around. Like CBSE, they get got a good scores. State board, they don't get the good scores because of obviously, it's a bit strict. But we have done is we have kept the benchmark at
At
60%.
60.
Yeah. So yeah, because there are a lot of ambiguity about getting strict scores in state board and everything.
True.
What we need to tell student is, look, you didn't go to the state board on the last year, right? You have studied the state board throughout your life.
True.
So you know the pattern and you know the way. So you need to work hard accordingly. So that's how it is. So we have to have it 60%.
Great. Now, in terms of, the postgrad courses, uh, there is one common, problem at certain regions in India. If I'm based in Gujarat, so I'll talk a little bit more about Gujarat. Uh, we see most of the students when they're graduating and they come up to us. Uh, in the initial years of their education at bachelor's level, they have a lot of backlogs. So how does Excelsia, consider backlogs, and uh, what are the policies regarding around that?
Okay. In terms of backlogs, not more than 20% backlogs that we take. So what we are talking about is more of engineering students. Okay. So engineering students generally go for a lot of backlogs. Other students generally don't have. So we don't have much of engineering courses, so we don't worry about backlogs actually. But having said that, we got new programs which are related to engineering and IT, because we got a Master of Research for STEM, which is an amazing course for all the students who have studied, technology, engineering, or mathematics or science. They want to pursue research. They can study Master of Research in STEM with us, which is an amazingly new course. And yeah, so in that case, the student needs to obviously clear all the subjects they have backlogs. We would take it on a case to case basis, but not more than 20% backlogs is what we are looking at.
Great, thank you for sharing that, Dityaman. In fact, that was my next question. I wanted to, get to know a little more about the research programs. If I'm not wrong, I believe there are two research programs that are offered at Excelsia.
Yes, yes.
Can you give us a little more details about those?
Okay, so what happens is in terms of research, first I'll give you the background of research. A lot of students in India, they aspire to study research and they do apply to unis. And you have dealt with so many research students. The worst part is all these poor students who apply and they are not able to get through with the research programs because of the very fact that they don't know how to write a research proposal. You know, the research proposal might be like, which is not according to the need of the Australian in standards or as per the international standards, which for the research, and that's why they get rejected. They don't get through it. So what we have done is we have a research program and we have devised it in a way that student can come and study research through our Master of Research program, Master of Research first year program, and then they go to the PhD program. So in this, what happens? The first year they learn how to write a research proposal, how to select a topic, and how to select their mentors in that, and that's how they go to the PhD program. So our very most sought after program is the PhD program in organizational leadership. So basically, it's a PhD in organizational leadership, which talks about leadership in different organizations, different fields, and how it is important to take up the. You know that in any business today, our leaders are more important, and that's what they groom. So a person should be multitasking, can be placed in any of the department, and they can take up that role. So we got a PhD in organizational leadership, and of course we got a PhD right now with STEM.
Correct. Okay, so as you said, masters of research and then getting into PhD. So masters in research, the leadership program. Uh, does a student need a master's degree to apply for that, or can there are a lot of engineers who have studied their engineering and they want to get into a management program to upskill themselves for the corporate and the world market and the work market. So can they apply to a master's for research program on their undergrad degree?
No, with the undergraduate degree, we cannot take it to a Master of Business Research program. See, we need to understand that research program is for all those students who want to become an academia later on or get
True.
into the research field later on.
True.
So masters is a level where they really need to go through the grilling of masters duration of 2 years. So anybody who is an engineering student and they want to acquire the management standards of taking for getting proper jobs or getting into good positions, I would suggest them to go for an MBA program with us, because the MBA is specialized in organizational leadership, where they will be studying about corporate governance, leadership skills, organizational management, a lot of conflict management, small scale, medium scale, business enterprise management, critical courses which are important for a business leader. So our MBA program will be more conducive for our undergraduate student, and then from there they can plan to do a research and followed by the PhD. So that is there. Undergraduate students, whether it is engineering or science, they cannot come for a master by research program.
Okay, great. So for all those research aspirants who have finished their masters but they're looking at STEM field and finding it really difficult getting into big universities in for their PhD programs, I think this is a good pathway for them. Come and inquire with us. Our council would be happy to share more details about the research programs at Excelsia as well.
Absolutely. Sorry to interrupt in between, but when we say about big universities, and of course that's I would like to tell all the students out there, you need to understand that it is not the size of the university or the what kind of. You need to understand whether the university has a relevant program for the research that you want to do or not, and whether whether you are going to get the kind of attention and resources when you are doing the PhD program over there.
True.
So I would really request all of you to please understand what you want to do, get a proper counseling, and meet people who are expert and who know how about that particular program, and then guide you properly. So yes, that's the right thing to do.
True, 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 true. Okay, so we've covered a lot today. We've talked about the border situation in Australia, and the good news of and the possibility of opening it soon. We've talked about Australia as a destination. We also talked about in depth about Excelsia and their offerings. Uh, Now, from your point of view and from your experience, uh, what guidelines would you like to give to the students, who are planning to shortlist a country and a course? Uh, let's assume they're planning to study in Australia. They've decided they want to study in Australia. Now they want to do some research on, how to shortlist a university or an institute uh, for their studies. What criteria they should keep in mind before doing that research, and uh, what kind of assistance they should take and from whom?
Yes, it's a very critical thing, Vaibhav, what you are saying. A lot of students, in my past experience, I've seen they would come, and when I would ask them a question, why you want to study in Australia? And they would answer me this: Australia is my dream destination. And I would like, okay, and yes, and what's the capital of Australia? And they would say,
Sydney.
Sydney. And somebody would say Melbourne. And I would say, my God, you have a dream destination called Australia and you don't know the capital of Australia. So this is the first thing, all of you students out there, please do a thorough research about the country that you want to study in, any country. So if you're planning to go to a destination, get each and every information about that destination, the country, the climatic condition, the kind of economic environment, the kind of people out there, the kind of institutions out there. This is the first thing you need to understand, because you are going to a destination which is way, way, way far from your home country, and you will be all alone out there. You will have to survive that environment. So you need to have as much information about that country. And of course, these information will help you while you are preparing for your SOP also, for your visa process. So, you don't have to depend only on information from your friends who are out there just saying that, oh, come on, this is like this is like that, you can come and enjoy. No, you do your own homework, do your own research. That's the first thing I would like to suggest everyone. The second thing is, when about shortlisting institutions, don't go by the big names or the rankings. Of course, they are there. You need to go refer to the rankings, but you have to understand the philosophy behind ranking, because a particular institute might be ranked as top 10 because of certain factor, but that same institute would be ranked something different in a different ranking, or body altogether. So there is a Shanghai ranking, there is a Times High ranking, there are local body rankings. So go by the rankings, but you need to go and research inside the institute what kind of departments or schools they have, who is the faculty, what is the kind of faculty they have, what is the total experience these faculties have. You can find all these details when you start researching them. What kind of research those institutions are doing, how much resources they are allocating to the research when they are dealing with the students, what kind of student services they are providing. So you will be surprised to see that there are very big institutions, but they are very oriented towards smaller research segment, which is very specific. But there are smaller institutions with larger, focus on larger things altogether, and you will definitely find a equation which fits you altogether. So
True.
first is the country information. Second is institution. Besides ranking, you to find out what kind of services they give to you, what kind of students study over there, what kind of community is there, what kind of support you have, and the most important part, what is the kind of budget it has. Because Web of that, every international student has a limited budget to
True.
to for themselves, and it's a big investment, because they go and put money over there, and then after one semester or two semesters they say, no, I can't afford, I need to change. And that's a disaster, because you are going to walk away from a quality education provider to somebody who is cheaper, and just because it's cheap, not because of the quality of education. Okay, so
True.
understand that. And the third most important thing is, what is the kind of outcome you are looking at. Like in Australia, if you are looking to study a course which doesn't have a great outcome in Australia, there's no point coming to that. No? Yeah, I mean to say, like what are the job prospects? You need to study the economy, what kind of infra it has, what kind of growth it has. So a lot of things come in that way. So three things you need to understand: that you are coming to a country, you need to have every information about the country, rules and regulations and everything. Number two is the institutions, and of course, after the completion of the course, what kind of career and opportunity you have in that particular country to have a great life after that.
True. So, just to summarize on that, I guess uh, there are a lot of factors and, there are a lot of influences which impact the decision of a student. But I would request, and I always tell this to the student, listen to all the suggestions that you get, but research on your own, because it's about your life, it's about your career. You have to do the research, and it is not tough. Go to the websites of the institutes, check out the details about institute, what they offer, get in depth. One important factor about Australia is don't go by the name of the degree. That may give some wrong idea, because all the institutes in Australia are autonomous. They design their own courses. So just don't go by the name of it. Look into the course, the subjects that they're covering, what all would you be learning from that, then make a decision, because that is very important.
And one more important factor I would like to add, Babo, on this is exactly what a student should hear from a quality counselor or a quality agent. So all these things start with coming to at a right place. So I have been associated with Expert and with you for so many years now, and I keep on telling the students, when you take the first step, the right step, that's where you know that everything is going to be right. So the things that you are sharing, the information that you are saying, a quality counselors or a quality representative talks about that. Instead of fees, it's about the content of the course. Instead of an institution name, it's the outcome of the course. So all the students hearing, yes, please go to a representative where they officially represent that particular institution, and that is where you will get the right kind of guidance. Look into their background, also do a background check, how many students they have counsel, how many countries they do, what kind of institution they represent. And of course, I don't need to say that Expert is one of the leading names in these international student services.
Thank you so much for those words, Deeptiman. Uh, so I guess we're not getting any more questions right now, because I think we've covered everything for the students. But first, let me thank you so much again, for being a part of this Expertconnect that we started. It's just given us a good response. Originally, the idea behind doing this was, again, the basics of our industry and how our company works, is that we should be able to give students the genuine and up-to-date information. And if through us and through our partners in universities and institutes abroad, that was the idea behind it. And you've shared great insights regarding Australia and how the students should start their plan. I'd like to thank you for that. And would like to close, this webinar with one food for thought. There was one topic which we discussed during our discussion today, is the budget thing. So just to close, a glimpse of that. On an average, if you are going for a higher studies course in Australia, the average cost is somewhere around $30,000 to $32,000 a year. At Excelsia, let me hear it from Deeptiman himself. At Excelsia, the fees for a UG or PG course annual
the maximum course fee that we have for the PhD program is $22,000, the highest you would say.
And I guess for masters, it's around 17.
It's $17,000 to $18,000.
So here where the budget comes in. So whenever you're planning, keep that factor as well. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this discussion today.
Thank you so much for having me, Vaibhav. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Deeptivan, and thanks the attendees. Have a good day. Bye-bye.